What's up, Internet? Corey Zamir here, back with a weekend adventure in video game hunting. We're on our way to our usual flea market, and we're also gonna stop down to an area of Connecticut that we rarely go. Check out some stores, check out... What the hell's down there? There's no flea market down there.
In Danielson? No, we're not going to that?
I didn't think we were.
Okay.
I don't know, we've been to Danielson before, we can go there again sometime, but I feel like today, I don't know, like maybe just hang out in that area. Because Danielson's like an extra 30 minutes away from where we're going. We're hitting the outlet stores. There's also a game exchange down there that I've never been to. So that's going to be interesting. And I'm going to hit up Crystal Mall. So let's see what we can get. Back at our flea market. It wouldn't be a week for me without seeing a Tiger Electronic handheld. For $1, I can't complain. Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, that's for service. Oh, really?
When I got to this Wii bundle here, there was actually some guy in the process of negotiating about it. Oddly enough, he didn't really stop me from looking at what they had. I looked through, they have a whole bunch of disc-only games. Right now I'm looking at the other shit they had because I didn't want to just dive right into this Wii bag. And I found a handful of titles, decent titles. I don't know if I'm able to get them on film just because of the close quarteredness of this, but I know there was Donkey Kong Country Returns, Mario Galaxy, Mario Kart. Unfortunately, they were haggling, and the price range then was around $120. I haven't been to this one before. Absolute first priority whenever I go into a new video game store that I've never been to before is to check out what they have for Super Nintendo or Nintendo. So immediately checking out a few titles here, putting a few things in my maybe pile. Nothing I'm seeing here for Super Nintendo is really grabbing my eye. So very soon we're going to take a look at the NES titles. As far as collecting goes, NES has kind of taken a backseat for me just due to space reasons. So it's very unlikely that any filler titles I find here are something that I'd actually be interested in taking home with me, because I literally do not have any more room on my shelf there. Literally don't have any more room. So that's a problem I'm dealing with. So I'm always looking for different things to collect that I actually have space for. Like, here's something I don't see every day. Boxed. And maybe? This maybe? Factory sealed? I don't really know what factory sealed on a Game Gear game looks like. But we got some few cool titles here. Obviously, they've got quite a few of each. They got like the same core games: Sonic the Hedgehog, Donald Duck, Deep Trouble Duck, something like that. Was it Caesar's Palace and Aladdin? Aladdin is a definite buy at $4, brand new sealed in the box, as is the Donald Duck game. I ended up going with Caesar's Palace over Sonic just because I see Sonic everywhere. I really do. Like, I'm more likely to come across Sonic 2 in the box at another gaming exchange or pretty much anywhere else. It's pretty much the most common game on the system. So I don't feel bad leaving that behind, even though it was only, I believe, $1.95. I didn't want to mess with my buy 2 get 1 free deal. Moving on, let's finally go check out what they have in the case. The fuck? Now, at first I was mostly concerned about this mountain bike entertainment game. Apparently that's not the one that's worth a fuck ton, but that is a Fox Final Fight 2. Motherfucker. So, we just came across the Regency Gaming Plus at the mall. That's apparently closing down. The mall we never go to. Got a whole bunch of arcade machines in there. Terminator Salvation, DDR Extreme, Hoop Fever. Seems like it would have been a pretty cool place, but I'm assuming if it's related to the other Regency Gaming, it's expensive as hell. Now, I'm just going to kind of breeze through this toy haul because I've been here before, and I'm aware of how their prices go. Well, let's take a look at what they have in here. Let me know in the comments below what you think about and how you handle video game stores like this that generally have their prices so high above what the games are worth that even if you quote-unquote caught them slipping, it would only be them slipping down to what it's actually worth. I spent quite a bit of time in here and I couldn't find anything at all that would have been a decent deal. No offense to the people that work there or the people that own it, but I really don't understand how they stay in business, because if you have this ridiculous amount of inventory and no one to buy it because your prices are so high, how do you keep the doors open? For the second day of the flea market, despite it looking absolutely beautiful out, it's about 26 degrees right now, and it's the first day of spring. So garage sales might be a little bit further away than I want them to be, but that's alright, We're still finding great stuff. Here I'm digging through a box of games that look to be mostly sports games from a flea market vendor that I've never actually seen with video games. So I'm hopeful, I'm digging. Let's see what we can find in here. Looks like a whole bunch of garbage for the most part. Got a lot of baseball games, football games, a lot of Xbox 360. Some really bad camera work. I do, however, see an N64 cartridge. Gives us a little bit of hope. Maybe there'll be something else in here. However, for the time being, I'm looking at this box over here. So I get Chiquita bananas. It's kind of like a face, if you look at it. Like that. I mean, this camera work, not really anything else to look at. Oh, I got a Super Nintendo game of some sort. And it's NBA Hang Time. Yeah, so that was almost nothing, but I'm gonna pick it up. Cheap ass Super Nintendo game, sports title, but I think it's something along the lines of like NBA Jam, where it's still kind of cool. NBA Hang Time. Let me know in the comments below which one you like better. I'm pretty sure NBA Jam just was universal, obviously the choice, but I've heard NBA Hang Time compared to it. Holy shit, my nose is fucking red as hell. It's cold out. So I was slightly on the fence about getting Rainbow Six Siege today for $30 at Best Buy. Well, for $24 at Best Buy with the 20% off for Gamers Club unlocked. But given that they don't even have it in stock, I guess that's taken out of my hands. Alright guys, let's take a look at what I was able to find this weekend. First up, let's go over the flea market finds because they were pretty mediocre at best. Been a magnet for these recently. Tiger Electronics picked up this for $1. Independence Day. Apparently they were just making Tiger Electronic handhelds for anything back then. This is pretty shitty. But for $1, whatever. Part of me a little bit wants to collect them, but with space already being an issue for actual games and systems and shit like that, I can't see making the space for it. Maybe sometime in the future, I don't know. Also, I'm just going to show this now because it's mediocre. For $1, I also picked up on Sunday NBA Hang Time for the Super Nintendo. Label could be in a little bit better condition. Not sure if it's worth playing. I've heard it compared to NBA Jam, but NBA Jam is actually a good game, so who knows. And the last few items I got at the flea market, I paid $10 for because I wanted to purchase this. And if you watch the weekly vlog, you know I play Dungeons and Dragons at least once a week, or about once a week, I guess. And I got the premium edition Player's Handbook. This is pretty cool. It's in very nice condition. I feel like I've either passed up on this in the past, or I never noticed this was the premium edition. Because I've looked at it a few times, this vendor's had it for a while, and I must have thought it was just the regular one. But it's the premium, it's nice and shiny. Didn't have this yet. Very happy to have it. And when I brought it over to him, he made me take the rest of his D&D books for free, basically, because he wanted to get rid of them. Some of them, at least one of them, maybe I can make use of. We got Legends and Lairs, Path of Magic. It's got some interesting shit in there. Eberron, Last War, Eberron, Whispers of the Vampire's Blade, Eberron, Grasp of the Emerald Claw. Probably not going to use any of these. Pathfinder Chronicles, Classic Monsters Revisited. Pathfinder Chronicles, Guide to Corvosa. And Sword and Sorcery, Vigil, Watch, Warrens of the Ratman. What the fuck is this? I guess it's an adventure. But, like I said, only for the cost of nothing would I have taken those with me. So, very happy to have that. I think the only one now that I need in the premium edition is the Monster Manual. But, you guys aren't here for that shit. We're here to talk about what video games I got. And on Friday, impromptu, didn't actually plan on going game hunting, but we wanted to go out, we wanted to do something, so we hit up some Goodwills, some Savers, and most importantly, some game exchanges. The first game exchange, I came across this game that I'd never heard of, but based on the cover, and the game is Rollaway. It looked kind of like Monkey Ball, maybe Marble Madness. They had it priced at $7.95, so I decided to look it up, and there's some copies that are going for $20+. And the interesting thing about that, for me at least, is they had 2 copies of it. Now, my friend Rob Mitchell, who you should be subscribed to on YouTube, if you're not, I'll leave a link in the description below. He is going for a complete PlayStation 1 collection, so I immediately hit him up, checked to see if he had it. He needs it, so I figured I'd try and do a little bit of recouping. I will get one for him to trade to him, one to sell, and for me, because it's a buy 2 get 1 free, I picked up Warhammer Shadow of the Horned Rat. It's a strategy game that I know absolutely nothing about, but it looked cool. So that was about $16 or $17 after tax, and presumably I'd get all my money back from one of the rollaways, and I get to trade Rob Mitchell a game he needs. At the next game exchange we went to, this is the one I go to most often, and I'm fairly familiar with their stock. So when they get something new in, it's not very hard for me to spot it. And luckily for me, I was able to spot 2 DS games that I hadn't seen there before. We got Mega Man Star Force Zerker X Saurian 2, which they had priced at $9.95, and it is worth about $20 to $25 on eBay. I have no interest in these, I'd call them like middle of the road Mega Man titles. Like, they were just shitting these out. They have no value to me, so definitely a great recouper. And I also picked up Nights in the Nightmare. Now this game, if you've watched my PSP collecting collection video, I already have this. I've had this for a long time on the PSP. And my friend Roaming Dan, who you guys should also be subscribed to, also in the link below, he is collecting RPGs, and I gave him a choice. Do you want the DS version or the PSP version? Because I owe him a lot. I really do. So he's going to take this one, and with me paying about $21 for that, presumably I'll be able to get like 20 to 25 back on the Mega Man game, so that was also basically free. So essentially I've spent $10 so far, right? $10 and probably made a little bit of money. So we went to a part of the state down near the casinos that we rarely go to, and by rarely I mean never, because Alicia wanted to hit up some outlet stores. Down there is a game exchange that I've never been to, which is always an exciting prospect for me. They had something there that I honestly have never seen before at a game exchange. And if these are factory sealed, honestly it doesn't matter to me. If they are, they're not worth really much more than they would be open, but they had a whole mess of Sega Game Gear games in the box, apparently sealed, unless they were just reseals. So I picked up 3. The only one I didn't get, that they had multiple copies of each, of course. The only one I didn't get was Sonic 2, just because that's a common game. I don't really care if I get it boxed. But what this does do is it makes me now need to reevaluate some space, because I've never had a boxed Game Gear game before. But we picked up Caesar's Palace, which, if it's anything like the Super Nintendo version, is pretty cool. Deep Duck Trouble, starring Donald Duck. That's about as good of an impression on me as you'll get. And Disney's Aladdin, which the Super Nintendo and the Sega Genesis game are amazing, so who knows about the Game Gear version. Most Game Gear games seem kind of shitty to me, but I was a Game Boy kid, so whatever. And the other thing they had in the case that I was very happy to see, I had to do a little bit of research on these because I didn't want to be caught slipping while I'm trying to catch them slipping, you know what I'm saying? A game I've heard about in a few Hidden Gems lists. We got Saturday Night Slam Masters. This one was in the case, but only $10, and it goes for about $20, seemingly pretty consistently. And another game they had in the case, and at the time when I was inquiring about it, didn't obviously know if it was complete or not, because it was in a box. I didn't know the condition, so I had to look at it. They had this up there for $50. Now, this is Final Fight 2. It is unfortunately missing the manual, but complete, it goes for around $100. I highly doubt the manual is $50 on its own, and of all the things, the manual is the least important to me. So I'm very happy to have this. I don't know. If I feel like if I had left this behind, I would have been regretting it, so I had to shell out some money. Not something I normally do, but sometimes you gotta make it rain. Let me know what you've made it rain on recently in the comments below. Like the video, subscribe if you're new, and as always, keep it real, Internet. I love you guys.